Hey guys, Mike here from Binya Outdoors. Today we're doing the last edition of Conquering Rhode Island Exploring Series. We're actually going back to a body of water that I already fished as part of this series. I'm going to limit myself. I'm taking away an hour because I have fish there to add a little bit more pressure. This is the body of water that I've caught the biggest and most bass, so I'm trying to hit it again. The conditions are completely different. It's going to rain today. The temperature is about 20 degrees colder than it was the last time I fished this place. So I decided I'm just gonna fish it one more time, and that's how we're gonna close out this section. The next video in this series will be practice day one. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to have a simple strategy of fishing lipless, chatterbaits, drop shot, and I'm also going to be fishing wacky rig, and that's basically it. I'm going to keep working those baits. I'm also going to try to reassess every hour, so that's kind of the new skill set that I'm trying to teach myself. Every hour, make a decision as to whether what I'm doing is working or not working, reassess the situation, and go from there. But that's what we're doing. I'm driving there now, so let's go. Starting right off here, guys, there is lily pads along the shoreline, and what I'm actually trying to do here is I'm going to work this cover. It did start to drizzle a little bit, so I'm thinking that maybe those bass came shallow when the pressure increased, and ultimately my plan is to try to work these lily pads, give it a little bit of time, but if nothing presents from that, then I'm going to go out, work some docks, try to drop shot deeper, and see if I can put together a pattern, and then just continue to run that pattern for the remainder of the 5 hours. But ultimately, I have fished here before, and I did run a dock pattern. I'm trying to avoid that at first because I know that pattern works here. So I'm trying to change things up, do something a little bit different, just so that I have that same newness appeal. I ultimately just didn't want to drive 3 hours to the next body of water that I haven't fished. So I decided to just kind of simulate by fishing here. Setting my timer for 5 hours, and then we are going to see if I can beat 74 inches. That's a smallmouth, I guarantee it. He went up. First thing he wanted to do is go up. That's a big smallmouth. There's a big smallmouth. Hell yeah. Pissed off, big ass smallmouth. Get you. The thing I learned the hard way: put the net on the edge of the kayak so that they can't escape, because the best they can do is jump into the net. He's a really long smallmouth. He is 17 and a half. I'm gonna take his photo. So a little technical difficulty here. I do not have fish finder right now. It turned off. I have no idea why. I have power because I do have lights hooked up to the same system, but unfortunately it just does not want to cooperate. So what that means is I'm gonna have to fish old school when it comes to depth. I'm gonna have to just cast baits out, let them sink, get an idea of bottom composition purely based on feel, which can be an advantage and disadvantage at times. But most of my fish, all three so far, have come off of the edge of shore. So I'm thinking that that might be the way to go, is to just fish off the edge of shoreline dig in from there. So what we're doing here is we're actually kind of shooting out a little deeper. I'm gonna do a lap around that island that I just caught that big bass from, because I did pick up 2 bass on one side, so I'm thinking the other side very well might hold bass as well. And then I'm gonna work my way across this little channel, work along the shoreline dink and dunk docks with jigs and wacky rigs, and then we're gonna go back out and fish deep, and we're just gonna use deep divers and just keep changing sizes until I figure out how deep I actually am. Like I said, old school, just counting it down. When it hits the bottom, I'll know roughly where it is. So something I'm gonna have to overcome when I'm tournament fishing. It's not something that I always am gonna have. There is gonna be, you know, technical difficulties at times, and I've been really debating on getting a lithium battery to run everything off of instead of having to charge multiple battery banks and things like that. So that may be what I do. I might just simply wire in a lithium battery and call it a day to see if that's a better system, have one battery to rule them all. But gonna have to make that decision when I get home. For now, I got 2 more fish to catch, and then I've got to upsize if I want to try to beat my previous score here. That's a fish. That's another smallmouth, I think. That's a pretty largemouth. That's what that is. Exactly what that is. It's a really colorful largemouth. Okay, let's get him on the board. Another fish. Take his photo. Didn't get my camera out that time, but all right, he was 14 inches. Another little guy. Set him back in. That's a fish. Nope. Number 4. Things you can get out because that net's clear. I think that's the problem with this net. That these bass think they can escape because they are. Listen, man. All you need to do is let me take a picture for 10 seconds. That's all you need to do, man. All right. He 16 inches. I got 1 more fish and then I'll be at 5 because I'm doing the last video of my Rhode Island exploring practice part. And if I catch 1 more, that'll be my 5th one, and then it'll be the first time in this series that I've actually pulled up that caught more than 5. Because this place is where I caught the 74 or whatever, so. Yep. So. Making pens. You should make a Binny Outdoors hat. Oh yeah? See, so while you're printing that logo, you should print one for a hat too. Just saying. Okay. Don't mind me being greedy. Oh, fuck. Oh, there was a loon over here. Just wanted to make sure he wasn't stuck here. Oh. Hold on. Fish on. Doesn't feel as big, but where are you going, bro? Oh, he isn't big. Come here, buddy. Hello. All right, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna go do my talking part. Love you. Bye, baby. There's number 5, guys. So we've caught an official limit now. Let's get him unhooked. Get him measured. All right. So he refuses to close his mouth for some reason. Is 15 inches. Get a photo of him. All right. Got a photo. Show you guys the fish. He goes back in the water. We put everything back. So that's a limit. Our smallest is 15 inches, so I need to catch bigger than 15-inch bass. And that's kind of where things get a little more interesting, because I got to decide, do I continue to try to catch fish along these edges, or do I try to find a technique that gets me a little bit bigger fish? I do see a raft and a bunch of docks along that shoreline. So I think I'm going to fish my way across and then go try to fish those, see if there's some bigger boys hiding out. I'm not necessarily going to weigh every fish unless it's bigger than 15 inches. It doesn't even count. So I might as well just continue to fish and try to locate some bigger bass. All right, that's going to do it for me. As you can probably tell, it's starting to get dark. It's just damp. And honestly, I'm ready to just go home, get a hot meal, and spend some time with my family. I want to thank you for coming along with me. I've been getting a lot of new subscribers. A lot of people have been watching my content, and I appreciate every single one of you. This is why I do it. I don't have sponsors. I do this because I enjoy making content, and having someone watch it just makes every single bit of it worth it. Spending the extra money on cameras, all of that, it all comes down to doing it for you guys so that I can make content that you enjoy, and by you watching, that's how you tell me you enjoy. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button down there, give me some comments, tell me if you guys are liking this series or other videos, if you have ideas for other videos as well. This is the end of the exploration portion of Conquering Rhode Island. The next 3 videos in this series are going to be practice day 1, practice day 2, and the actual championship. I'm even going to try to film the weigh-in as long as I don't get yelled at. Ultimately, you guys, the next video is going to be me driving down to Rhode Island trying to see if I can win a championship. So I'm really excited to bring that portion of this series to you. I will be doing some more videos after that of time challenges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a time limit based on the size of the body of water, and I'm going to try to catch the 5 biggest bass I can, put them on the measuring board, kind of like I just did in this series, but it's going to be just for that body of water. I'm going to keep track of stats for each body of water that I fish, try to beat my previous score, and so on. I feel like it's a little bit of internal competition, but also I think you guys really enjoy that kind of content where I compete against myself. I talk about what I did wrong, what I did right. Going on that note, what I did right here, it was dink and dunk shoreline, it was jigs, wacky rig, 0 hits on moving baits again. So that tells me that this particular body of water is all about the shoreline, about the ledges, about the cover, and that's what I learned, is I've got to stick to where fish are and not leave fish to find fish. When I left the fish that I was catching, I didn't catch a damn thing until I came back to where I was catching, and then I caught that last bass. So there you go. I got to learn to stay where the fish are, try to find the bigger ones in that school, and then leave to expand, because ultimately I've got to catch them to measure them. Again, I want to thank you guys for coming along with me. Stay tuned. This series is not over yet. We're going to Rhode Island next episode to start seeing if we can win that championship. For now, I got a long pedal to shore. I got to dry out, eat some dinner, but as always, let's get out there, catch more fish.